I train 3 times per week, I don't do any cardio, I still eat the foods I love, and I'm in the best shape of my life. But just a couple of years back, I was exactly where we are right now. Hitting the gym, training consistently, eating clean, doing everything I thought I was supposed to do, but I still looked skinny fat. So if this sounds familiar, this video is for you because over the last 2 videos, I broke down 2 really important things. Number 1, just hitting the gym is not enough. You actually need to give your body a reason to change by progressively overloading and getting stronger every single week. And number 2, the worst thing you can do as a skinny fat guy is cut your calories too low, restrict yourself, and hop on this huge calorie deficit, because this way you will burn fat, burn muscle as well, and this just makes you look worse despite eating less. And if you're sitting there watching this thinking, okay Thomas, so what the fuck do I actually do? This video is the answer, and this will be straight up value. So please sit down somewhere where it's super silent, grab a pen and paper or some fucking notepad, I don't care. Just listen, focus, because this is honestly going to change your physique completely if you apply this. Because getting lean as a skinny fat guy comes down to a super simple equation, and that is nutrition plus training equals a lean physique. That's it. And just to make this a bit more interesting and valuable to you and applicable to you, I made a full-blown presentation. So let's just break down the nutrition side first. So the first thing we ever want to do is something I call the reboot phase. So before you even touch a calorie deficit, you need to do something most coaches will never tell you to do, and something honestly that you probably haven't even thought of, and that is to eat at your maintenance. Because if you're watching this, chances are that you have been through multiple attempts at cutting. So you ate less, you cut your calories, you done more cardio, you restrict yourself. And what this does over time is simply beat up your metabolism. Your metabolism is your metabolism is not where it's supposed to be at all. So if you go straight into another deficit, your progress will be super slow or non-existent. Because, for example, as you'll see in the next step, we'll be hopping on a small calorie deficit of 300 calories. And I will explain the mechanism behind, or like the why behind this mechanism in the next step. But we'll be hopping, just to kind of like give you context, we'll be hopping on a small 300 calorie deficit. And so if you have been chronically undereating and eating way too little for way too low, your metabolism went from where it's supposed to be, for example, 2,500 to maybe 2,300. And even though this does not really sound like a huge difference, if you hop on a 300 calorie deficit, taking in kind of like thought the fact that you should be at 2,500, right now that deficit goes from 300 to 100, since your calorie maintenance is at 2,300, not at 2,500. That was a mouthful, but I hope that made sense. So the reboot phase basically fixes that. So what you want to do is take your body weight in pounds and multiply it by 14. That's literally your maintenance calories. So eat that much for 2 to 4 weeks. This lets you, reset your metabolism, so that when we go into a deficit, we're actually cutting the right way. And our progress is faster, and it's enjoyable, and it's cool because you're seeing changes in the mirror, and that kind of like pushes you forward. So this is really important. And the step number 1 that you want to do with your nutrition is first reboot your metabolism by eating at your maintenance for 2 to 4 weeks, but ideally 4 weeks, right? And so to move into phase number 2, which is the rebuild phase, once the reboot is done, we hit the rebuild. And that is by hopping, as I said, on a small calorie deficit. And this calorie deficit will be nothing huge. We will not be hopping on a full crazy restrictive calorie deficit of 500 or 600 calories, nothing like that. We just want to be in a 200 to 300 calorie deficit below your maintenance. So as I said, nothing aggressive, nothing extreme. And so along with your deficit, you want to make it a huge, and let me just kind of like circle this, huge focus to hit 1 gram of protein per pound of your body weight. Because protein is what helps you keep your muscle while you're basically losing fat. Because the only way to ever fix a skinny fat look is to lose fat and build muscle at the same time. Doing this plus eating your protein allows you to do exactly just that. So it also keeps you full, so the deficit doesn't feel like suffering, and it also drives the body rebuild, as I said, which is losing fat and building muscle at the same time, which is what breaks the skinny fat cycle, as I already mentioned. And so now that we have both of these rebuild and reboot phases out of the way, I want to talk about something really important, and that is something I call the flexible dieting method. Because the probably question that came into your mind is, okay, so what do I actually eat? Do I eat chicken and broccoli? No, please, nah, we're not eating that, right? You don't need the strict meal plan. You don't need to eat clean 24/7. You don't even need to give up your favorite foods, you know? You just need a way of eating that you can sustain. You actually look forward to, because the only way to ever stick to this long term and to build a lean physique that will last for a lifetime is by finding a diet you can stick to a lifetime. Compliance is the best science. Literally, if you can stick to it, that's the best diet. And one really important point right here is that this diet should be able to, hit your calorie and protein targets at the end of the day. And the easiest way to hit your protein while still leaving some calories for some late night snacking, for some, popcorn or chips or chocolate, ice cream, whatever, is to literally spam lean proteins. That's the game. And so just to give you a quick idea of what a lean protein looks like, lean proteins are, for example, egg whites. You can also eat eggs, but obviously you kind of want to combine these two. Lean ground beef, 0% Greek fat yogurt, lean chicken breast, whey protein, ground turkey. These are the kind of foods that you want to be spamming and getting your protein from, because sure, you could get your protein from eggs only, or from cheese, for example, or from, I don't know, not lean ground beef, or from steak, but that will just unnecessarily give you a huge calorie bump. Also, obviously it will help you hit your protein, but since we want to leave some calories for the good stuff at the end of the day, we want to be spamming lean proteins. So this is something that you actually might want to take a screenshot of, and this is what you want to be focusing on. So that's literally what you want to be doing. So find the meals you enjoy, build your week around them, hit your numbers, stay consistent. So when you eat the foods you actually like, you don't fall off, and not falling off is literally what produces results. And that's the whole game when it comes to the nutrition part. So just to kind of recap this, you first want to reboot your metabolism by eating at your maintenance calories for the first 2 to 4 weeks of your transformation, then hop into a rebuild phase, which is just a, 16-week, honestly, 16 to 20-week period of you eating at a slight calorie deficit while hitting 1 gram of protein per pound of your body weight, and making sure you hit your calories, hit your proteins, and it doesn't matter what you fill those calories/proteins up with. There was literally an experiment where a guy ate nothing but Twinkies for, I think it was 20 weeks, and he lost 20 pounds, I think. I might be lying, but I think it was a huge amount of numbers, because that's what matters, basically, at the end of the day. Hit your numbers, eat below your maintenance, you lose fat. That's it. And so now that we have the nutrition part of the way, I can literally just do this, hey, we finished this. There's only one thing that matters right now, and that is training. Because with the right nutrition, but not the right training, you could be eating whatever the fuck you want. Your body will simply not change. This is something that is really important for skinny fat guys, because you really do need that gym. And let me just break down exactly the way you want to be training, because just hitting the gym is not enough. And I'll even explain that. So you want to be using or doing something I call the high leverage training. And before I get into that, I want to say something that goes against everything the fitness industry and coaches and everybody online has told you. More is not better. The guy training 6 days a week, 2-hour sessions, always grinding, he's exhausted and he still looks the same because he's never recovering, and your body doesn't grow in the gym. It grows when you recover. Training is just a signal. So more is not better. Better is better. We train 3 to 4 times per week, no more. Every session has a purpose. Every single lift has a reason, and we train with intention less times per week rather than brainlessly 7 days a week. Again, volume is something that does not really matter in the gym in the grand scheme of things. I mean, volume in the sense of, yes, lifting the weights, sure, that matters, but volume in terms of this is the amount of days I hit the gym, it doesn't matter at all. What matters is the volume weight-wise, right? And so each session is 45 to 60 minutes long, short warm-up. You want to be focusing on compound lifts, which is basically the movements that hit multiple muscle groups and drive the most through. So basically squats, bench press, incline presses, overhead presses, all of that, right? And a few accessories to kind of finish up the full workout, that is bicep or tricep work, and that's it. 45 to 60 minutes, compound lifts, maybe some accessories, get in, do the work, and leave. And so just to touch on the point of progressing, because as I said, we want to be using something I call the micro progression protocol, and I already touched on this in part number 1 of this 3-part mini series, but This is literally what most guys are completely missing, because they show up, they lift whatever feels good that day, then they leave, but they have no system, they have no intention behind the lift they have, and no idea if they're actually progressing. Like, for example, if I ask you right now, what kind of weight have you benched last week? You probably wouldn't know, and that's the problem. You don't know what you lifted last week, and since you don't know this, since you haven't tracked this, you have no idea where to go next week, and that's the problem. Because your body only builds muscle and changes when it's forced to, literally forced to, when you give it a reason to. And literally, the micro progression protocol gives you that reason. So we do 3 sets per exercise, 4 to 6 reps on compound lifts, 8 to 12 on accessories, and the protocol is stupidly simple, and you will be able to stupidly easily remember this. So first of all, you want to pick a weight that you can lift for at least 4 reps and 3 sets. That's it. Something that is not super hard, but not super easy either. As I said, something in the middle that you can lift for 4 reps and 3 sets. That's it. And then you want to work with that weight until you hit 6 reps on all 3 sets. That's step number 2. And once you have maxed out the rep range, that is hit 6 reps on all 3 sets, and this is for compound lifts specifically. When it comes to the accessory exercises, you want to be doing 8 to 12, but let's just kind of like talk about compound lifts only, since I don't want to kind of mess this up or anything. So you want to work with that weight until you max it out, hit 6 reps on all 3 sets, and then move up 5 pounds on that exercise and repeat the whole process all over again. Literally just go from this, but with, like improved weights. And so if you struggle with 5 more pounds, try 2.5 pounds. Just make sure that the weight is more than what you just maxed out. And that's super important. And when it comes to the cardio part, because we have pretty much covered the gym part right here, when it comes to the cardio part, almost every skinny fat guy I've spoken to believes the same bullshit. And that is that to get lean, to get in shape, you need to do cardio. But again, that's bullshit. I said bullshit for a reason, right? Because if you enjoy running, sure, run. If you enjoy cycling, sure, go for a bike ride, right? But if you're forcing yourself through cardio you hate just because you think you have to, please stop, dude. Please stop. Because instead of adding structured cardio sessions to your week, just become more active throughout your normal day. So walk after meals, get a dog and walk it. Take the stairs instead of the elevator. Go for a slow walk in the morning to kind of like wake up. At least you're getting your sunlight and you're getting more energy and stuff. Just make sure you are being more active outside of the gym. You don't need crazy cardio. Just walk more, move more, that's it. Because when activity becomes part of your life rather than a punishment, you enjoy the process, and this is the whole main theme of my channel and of my coaching program, because enjoyability is king. Enjoyability of the process leads to long-lasting results, long-lasting lean body, and that's what we all want, right? And so the guys who take this seriously get results faster than anyone else. And it's not because they're working harder in the gym or whatever, but because they've built a life that supports their goal outside of it. And I actually need to underline it. It was a really ugly underline, but you want to build a life that supports your goal outside of the gym. That's the whole theme. That's how we get lean for life. And this is literally the full equation. You want to train, you want to have your nutrition in place, and that equals a lean physique. That's what it's all about. And so to give you a quick recap for the nutrition part, you want to start with a reboot phase. Eat at your maintenance calories, that is your body weight in pounds times 14, for 4 weeks to reboot your metabolism, then hop on a small calorie deficit of 2, maybe 300 calories below your maintenance while hitting 1 gram of protein per pound of your body weight. And you don't need a strict meal plan. You literally just need to find a enjoyable way of eating that helps you stay within your calorie range, hit your protein, and the easiest way to do this and to have a bunch of calories left over at the end of the day for candy, chocolate, ice cream, whatever, is to literally spam lean proteins from this checklist. And so in terms of training, you wanna basically don't need to train 7 days a week, nothing like that. Just train 3 to 4 times per week, no more, with every session being, having a purpose, every lift having a reason. 45 to 60 minutes, short warm-up, main compound lift focused, maybe some accessories at the end of this, literally 45 to 60 minutes, that's it. Then use what I call the micro progression protocol, where you pick a weight you can lift for at least 4 reps, 3 sets, max it out, move up 5 pounds, and literally just repeat the whole process all over again and again. And following this whole protocol that I just walk you through also while being active outside of the gym. I forgot that, my bad. But literally just by following what I outlined right here, you will be able to make so much progress. And literally, this is what got me from, let me just show you the progress. This is me, or this was me, this is me right now. You will be able to make this kind of progress, and it is not even that complicated. It is not even that hard, because it's not something that you kind of like, you're not on this journey, like you're struggling through it, nothing like that. It's just a part of your life. And that's the whole main theme. That's pretty much everything. That's the full-blown system that you want to be using to go from skinny fat to lean, confident, athletic. And some of you watching this, maybe even you will just run with it, use it, and that's completely okay. Everything you need is in this video, and more specifically in the full free mini series. But maybe you're done figuring all of this out alone. Maybe you would like some help building out something more personalized around your busy job, busy family life, hobbies, favorite foods, all of that. And you want someone who actually walked through the path, hold you accountable through the whole journey, so that when you're slipping, you have somebody in your corner helping you. So if that's you, honestly, the best thing you can do right now is apply to working with me one-on-one inside my coaching program. The instruction on how to do that exactly, I don't want to kind of like bore you with the details. Go down to the description. There are full instruction on how to exactly do that. I'll just ask you a couple of questions through messages. We'll see if I can even help you. If I feel like I can help you, we can schedule a call together where, again, we'll talk more about yourself, your goal, come up with some kind of personalized plan for you to hit the lean physique that you're going after. And at the end of it all, if it makes sense for the both of us, we can literally just move forward and work together in one-on-one coaching program. No pressure, just honestly just a pure friendly chat where I'm looking to see whether I can even help you. But if that's not you, that's completely okay. Rewatch the full series, take some notes, and most importantly, apply. Because information without application makes no sense. The only way you ever achieve results is by applied information. That's how you get results in whatever area of your life. That's it. And also make sure to follow my channel for more, because I post weekly content just like this, built specifically to help you get the best results as possible for, pretty much free. So I truly appreciate it. I'm super grateful for you going through this full mini series. Now go and take action, apply this, and you've got this. Peace out.